You and I both know what's on there. Your mom is here to testify as a character witness for you. Is she aware of the information that you have on your phone? No, I want to know specifically about her. Does she know what kind of pictures you were taking of her?
24 CR 515, the state of Texas versus Braden Hensley. That's you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Present with your attorney, Mr. Wilkerson, the state's attorney. And earlier you entered a plea of guilty to the third-degree felony. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Are there any corrections or changes to it?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
It's been made a part of the record for all purposes. Okay, how did you want to proceed on this?
Judge, I have two witnesses, one being the defendant himself and one being the defendant's mother. I don't know if you want a question here.
Yep, you heard it. Mom is going to hear all about what her sonny boy was doing while he was a teenager. And it is disturbing. There's a lot of censored stuff going on here, and I'm going to post the uncensored version for members only. Link will be in the description.
Perhaps seat at council table. And...
We can do it, Judge.
Okay.
Where's his mother?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you exit like we do on witnesses under the rule of sequestration, because I don't know what she's going to say or he's going to say, but we don't want to have a risk of...
Yes, sir. And then I went to ISF. I had come home, and then no sooner or later I came home, I bailed another UA for alcohol. Then got my probation revoked, went to TDC, and that was I don't know, that made me realize my freedom and how much my decision making was back then was, it just was very poor. And
You were you abusing alcohol severely?
yes, I was.
And was that disinhibiting? You weren't considering consequences of your actions at the time?
No, I was not.
You were then sentenced, as you indicated, to 3 years TDC. Tell us what you learned from that experience.
So I just learned that all of my consequences always have actions. It doesn't matter what I'm doing right then and there. I always have to worry about in the future, and not only who am I affecting, me, myself, just the other people around me. I've learned that just me as a person, I'm trying to work on it. And that going to TDC and coming home, and now.
How long were you in prison?
I was just a little bit over a year and a half. So.
Since then, you've been on parole, is that correct?
I wasn't arrested on it. That's when the phone was discovered with my old job. And as I was awaiting to go to ISF, that's when I guess it went through.
This case was indicted in March of 2024, to the best of your recollection, is that correct?
I thought it was 23.
Well, so the offense date was in November of 23, right?
Yeah.
When the phone was picked up and you were waiting to go to, you said, that was ISF at the time, right? The phone was discovered when you went to ISF.
Yes, sir.
And then you came back, you messed up, you went back to prison, correct?
Yes.
Did you post a bond in this case?
I did, yes, sir.
And so that only gave you 2 days credit, is that correct?
Yes.
And so while you were on bond is when you served TDC time on your Hardin County offenses, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, with regard to the nature of this offense, do you understand the severity?
Yes, sir, I did.
Can you tell the court in your own words, in terms of victimization, what you realize now that didn't seem to strike you back then?
Back then, I guess I just had my not necessarily. I mean, it was fantasies. I guess at the time it was kind of twisted. I didn't realize the way I see things now is. I mean, I don't want to bring it up here, but I will. I have a 4-year-old sister now. I look at her as as she's my own daughter. I mean, I could never imagine anything that ever happening to her. And if it did, I mean, it would really affect me. And I just know that this right here is, I know it's a speed bump. It's something that, I've done. I don't know how else.
In this,
I hate all of it. I want to just, I apologize. That was any sort of way that's wrong looking. I think that is the most, I realize that now, that is the most wrong thing. It's sick. It's just messed up.
Oh, wait. Well, what caused you to have a feeling of that now? You didn't have in these pictures then, like your sister. Well, why couldn't you see a comparison? Why didn't you have empathy for them then?
No, I wish I had an answer for that.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I see her now, and it's been an eye opener these last almost 5 years.
the use of alcohol in your life, did it know?
Yes, it did.
Was the alcohol voluntarily taken?
Yes.
Or did somebody force you to drink?
No, sir. No, it was
Okay.
voluntary.
All right.
So since you're under oath, let's start with what steps have you taken since you got released to address these issues that you're asking the court to deal with? In other words, what have you done on your own?
Just going to school and working. I mean, I haven't done any.
So you haven't addressed that issue yourself, right?
No, sir.
No, but you're asking and you're relying upon the fact that you're going to go ahead and do that if this court grants you probation.
Yes, sir.
Yet you've been out of custody for how long?
Just a little bit over a year.
Over a year. Over a year, you have not addressed the problem on your own.
Yes, sir.
All right. Number two, I want you to recognize that the judge did you a great favor in asking your mother to be absent from the courtroom. It's going to allow me to ask you some questions about the information that's on your phone. I'm prefacing that before we get started. You and I both know what's on there.
Okay, sir.
The court has read some to some degree, but it's not given the detail of what actual pictures you were taking of your mom. Your mom is here to testify as a character witness for you. Is she aware of the information that you have on your phone?
Not about her, but everything.
No, I want to know specifically about her. Does she know what kind of pictures you were taking of her?
She knew that I had pictures of her, not to that extent. No, sir.
Are you prepared for her to hear that? Because if she testifies, I'm going to be telling her about that.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to give you a chance to tell the judge what's in this deal that not only one of the witnesses provided in discovery, but an officer detailed in his report about the images you have of your mother. Go ahead and tell him.
I had pictures of my mother just around the house.
Be specific, sir.
I had stolen her underwear at times. Did acts with her underwear. Yeah.
He's a big person. He knows the words. Tell him. Just
sneaking behind her, taking just pictures of her.
And when was this?
this is all.
What period of time are we talking about?
So this would have been during high school and just a little bit right after.
This is you're charged with this offense on or about November 4th of 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
When in relation to that date were you doing this? We're talking about with your mom, as using your mom as a fantasy tool.
Up until about a year before that whole time until I got, everything came out.
And all those things were at least occurred during the time in which you were on probation.
Yes, sir.
For two crimes.
For two crimes. You had over 100 images of you while she's driving,
Yes.
all under, in a work phone, underneath a folder labeled mom, so that you could have easy access to know what that was to continue your sick fantasies. When you were talking with the judge, you described all of this as a quote unquote speed bump. I will give you one more opportunity to change that answer.
Yes, sir. I was a sick and twisted individual growing up. I had a lot of bad, inappropriate pictures that I had found on Google. It was definitely not a speed bump, just
Bad choices,
horrible choices. Yes, sir.
but choices nonetheless.
That I made.
Choices you made, you've continued to, up until today, to try to minimize it, describing it as a speed bump. You tried to minimize that contact when you talked to this PSI officer just a few weeks ago. And you think we should trust you to send you back to fantasize some more about your mother and whatever God knows happening to this?
No, sir. I would like to have some supervision or classes that I can take, because
Yet you've done none of that on your own.
no, sir, I have not.
I have no further questions of this witness.
January of the previous year is what he said.
When you said-
And that puts Braden at being 19, 20. So I'm thinking about, I know of one image I saw on Braden's phone accidentally, because we had the same type phone, and I accidentally took his phone to work one day, and he had mine. And his girlfriend at the time, who was a year older than him, he was 16, she was 17. She was an aspiring photographer, and she liked to send him pictures, and I saw one. But yes, it got to the point where I made him leave the house, and he was basically homeless for almost a year.
And so, do you know what chaperone classes are?
Has he had unsupervised access with your daughter?
Unsupervised, like babysitting?
Has he been alone with your daughter?
No, because my other son, I've left her home, like if daycare was closed and my husband and I had to work, it's both sons were usually there sometimes. So I don't remember that he's ever been there by
Are you
himself.
certain? Your lawyer or his lawyer was getting, are you concerned at all now that I've told you that?
With relation to my daughter, no. Because I just don't see anything.
All right, so I want to time out there for a moment.
Mhm.
What the lawyer for your son has pitched is that this court ought to consider giving him probation, which means sending him back home to where you live with that child, and you still don't have concerns about him being around her.
No, because when we buy our house, both of my sons won't be living with us. No.
And that's not enough.
I really don't. I mean, honestly, I don't, not with regards to my child. Even hearing this, because this is the first time that I'm hearing it.
We're going to get into some more disturbing matters, Smith,
Okay.
because you've been labeled as part of his support system. And I'm going to be fair with you and tell you that before you were called as a witness, I gave your son an opportunity to tell you what is on this phone before I do. And they chose not to do that. They just called you in here. So that means I'm going to be the one that gets to tell you what's on there.
Okay.
And it's not fun. So two different witnesses have detailed the fact that on his work phone, not personal phone, on his work phone, he had a folder labeled Mom, where he could access photos of you.
I'm going to mute this part.
Thank
She
you.
doesn't deserve it.
Right?
I suppose, yes.
No further questions.
All right, before we finish this up, let me ask you, you were on probation or in 2 cases in Hardin County. for illegal possession of a controlled substance. What was that?
It was ecstasy.
I'm sorry, ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
And then you were on probation for burglary of a habitation out of Hardin County. Whose home was burglarized? Anybody you know?
It was my grandmother's.
You burglarized your grandmother's home. Is that right?
So,
And you were placed on 5 years deferred or unadjudicated probation on each case on January 26, 2023. That was revoked a year and a half later. Both of those, and then you were sentenced to 3 years in prison. For what reasons were those two probations revoked?
I kept failing my UAs whenever I would report for probation.
Okay, you were failing your UAs. What were you testing positive for?
Alcohol.
Okay. Do you remember being interviewed by the probation office for this case?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when that occurred, when you had the interview with the probation office?
Yes, sir.
When?
It was about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Okay. So, other than ecstasy, any other drug problems?
It was ecstasy, marijuana, and alcohol. Those were my.
Okay. How long were you using marijuana?
Up until I was on probation.
How long? I don't know what that means.
2022.
When did you start?
January of 20. I was 15. And
Okay.
2017.
Okay. 9 years?
Yes, 9 years.
8 or 9 years?
Yes, sir.
Where were you getting your marijuana from?
Just whoever I was going to school with, friend, buddy.
And how frequent was that?
It's about like once a week.
Weekly for 7 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did your mom know about that?
Yes, sir. She did.
She knew you were using marijuana weekly, committing a crime every week, 52 weeks a year, times 6, 7, 300 times?
Yes, sir. That's why she kicked me out of the house.
When did she, after 6 years of finding out that?
Yes, sir.
And nobody, so y'all knew about problems here, but you didn't go treatment for that, right?
I just. No,
You're
sir.
committing a crime each time you do that. That's 300 some odd crimes. Okay. You're free falling. This is just free falling in all kinds of ways, isn't it? Oh. If nothing further, earlier you pleaded guilty in this case voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood and appreciated the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this third-degree felony of illegal possession. And again, these are crimes. This is a crime that is alleged to have been committed after you were placed on probation in two felony cases out of Hardin County. And you made promises when you were on probation that you would follow the rules. The first rule in all probation terms is do not commit other offenses. And so you are charged with committing this on or about November 4th, 2023. There's something else altogether.
Failed UAs is what it's
Yeah. Yeah, you were failing the drug tests, so they revoked you for that. Illegal possession of a simplification of a crime. It's not simple. Plus, we know now you even go so far to victimize your own mother in this. Yeah, you need some help. But this is something that you should have received help for a long time ago. Not here, after you're placed on probation in another case. And you're still, on the one hand, trying to make amends for the two crimes you were placed on probation for in Hardin County, and then you're on the other side committing crime all the time daily. I don't feel sorry for you. What is the price of when they are victimized in pornography, is possessed or traded or used? Because I've got 2 children and 3 grandchildren. I couldn't imagine the harm. But I've done this for 20 years. I've been a lawyer for 40 years, and I've dealt with. They have a hard time ever becoming what we want in a normal life because it haunts them forever. It's not something you can just shrug off and forget about. You used it for your prurient pleasures. That was terrible, sinful crime. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this 3rd-degree felony of illegal. I'm following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 7 years. This seems like that's not severe enough, or what you have pulled in crimes. This is now your 3rd felony. It's a different type of felony, but this one have been victimized by you. You need to fix that. You can fix it on your own if you want. I don't have to force you into probation. You'll be paroled soon enough. The parole authorities hopefully will work with you. But at the end of the day, all of this is your choice making. You're going to decide what kind of life you want to live for the rest of your life. Is it going to be atonement and trying to do better? Or will it be continuing to fall back on your prurient interest, which victimizes others? This is a simple choice to make. Do the right thing. You can start anytime, but do it and stay on the path. But you have victims that you have to pay for. And that's what this is all about. That's what we call justice. That is all. What else do we have? John, did you have something?
Trial.
Oh, you said it for trial? Okay.
No. He's here for the trial.
Okay.